don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have is
Sounds to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court?
Ladies and gentlemen, hey everyone, what you are about to see is beyond shocking. A law professor just told the United States Senate that the Supreme Court is a tool of white male supremacy and that Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy. This is not a joke. Welcome back to Congress Flash, the channel that tells you what's really happening behind the scenes in Washington. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video because you do not want to miss what we're about to uncover. Today, we're diving into one of the most outrageous Senate hearings in modern memory. Professor Marianne Franks, a law professor with a clear radical left agenda, went before the Senate and openly accused the Supreme Court of embracing racial patriarchy and enabling violence. She actually claimed that the court's...
Chairman, I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No,
I just want to clarify. No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, "Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy," end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, "When the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And
she actually claimed that the court's recognition of gun rights allows white men to terrorize and kill those they see as threats. Let that sink in. The senators did their job, pushing back against these extreme statements, asking the obvious questions. Are your personal political beliefs affecting your objectivity? And why are you making these incendiary statements in a hearing about constitutional law? But Franks doubled down. She refused to apologize. She didn't even try to explain why her tweets, claiming Americans hate women, or that the court is guided by white male supremacy, are relevant. Folks, this is exactly why conservatives are worried. We're not talking about policy disagreements here. We're talking about a radical academic using her platform to attack the Supreme Court, the Constitution, and everyday Americans.
And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You try to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question is.
let me show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote, the majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, there's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I
Thank you.
believe that you
The
should take
time
the First
has
Amendment
expired. Thank
seriously.
you. Senator Durbin.
Quote, Raw indociden mostu, right in front of the U.S. Senate, and what's worse, an abosten for dinamasaburui crowe, the mainstream media barely blinked. This hearing exposes the thin line between legal analysis and ideological activism. Franks isn't presenting law. She's pushing a narrative designed to divide Americans and erode trust in our institutions. As patriots, we need to recognize this for what it is, a full-on attack on the foundational principles of our country. And let's be clear. Sobered, saudestiqueer, this isn't about free speech. This is about weaponizing your words to destroy the very institutions that protect freedom, life, and liberty. If the Supreme Court or any part of our government can be accused of white male supremacy for following the Constitution, then we are truly witnessing an alarming shift in American society. If you're tired of the radical left trying to rewrite history, weaponize the law, and attack our Constitution, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with everyone you know so they understand what's really going on in Washington. Stay alert, stay informed, and as always, stay proud to be an American. If you're tired of the radical left trying to rewrite history, weaponize the law, and attack our Constitution, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with everyone you know so they understand what's really going on in Washington. Stay alert, stay informed, and as always, stay proud to be an American.